If I'm totally honest, it wasn't as dull as I thought it may be. That midsole has definitely livened it up a little bit. So welcome back to the channel. I've just been out in the garden and given my head a shave, so I've got a fresh trim ready to try out a fresh pair of shoes from Asics. See what I did there? These are the gel Cumulus 24, which are Asics' sort of most popular daily trainer, now in their 24th iteration, so they must be doing something right. I can remember when I ran in Stockholm, so maybe 2 or 3 years ago now, my first pair of running shoes was the gel Cumulus, either 18 or 19. So I did all my daily running in it, my park runs, which were my races at the time. When Asics reached out to me and said would I be interested in trying a pair for review, I said yes for one reason alone, is because they have updated the midsole on this version to the FF Blast. If you're familiar with Asics shoes, there's 3 or 4 types of foam. So the original, the 23, I managed to dig it out of the cupboard here, has just the regular flight foam, so it's a lot firmer. I can already tell just by picking it up, a little bit denser, more durable, but it doesn't have that same soft and responsive feel to it. And this is what was in the Nova Blast 2, a shoe from Asics again that I really got on well with. I really enjoyed the ride, and I feel like this is going to be a little bit more of a stable daily trainer. It's going to suit probably the masses. I think some people struggled with the stability of the Nova Blast 2. If you enjoyed the ride but not the stability, then maybe this is the shoe for you. Tonight I'm just going to take it out for a nice and easy run, see what it's all about, see if the improvements to the midsole have made a big difference to the overall ride of this shoe, and yeah, give you my first impressions. So I think without further ado, we'll get out for a run and see how the shoe performs. When we get back, I'll go over the specifications and yeah, give you my first impressions of the gel Cumulus 24. So summer is definitely on the way. Days are getting a little bit warmer recently, so I've left it quite late in the day actually to go for a run. It's now about 7 o'clock, so we've got a nice sunset run. I'll probably take the shoes for around, I don't know, 12-14 kilometers tonight. I'm now moving away from the longer stuff, the marathon and the half marathon, onto the track. So I think I've got my first track race in about 2.5 weeks, which will be the Asics 5,000 meter championships. So I'm going to be focusing a lot more on the shorter stuff. Last night down at the track we did a pretty brutal session. So I did a mile threshold to start with, and then we did 4x400 meters of 5 minutes recovery, and they were pretty much flat out. So my legs are a little bit beaten up today, so I'm thankful for a slightly softer ride of the gel Cumulus underfoot. Should help protect the legs a little bit after they got pretty beaten up last night. I think it was maybe the second session I've done this year in track spikes, so yeah, I'm definitely feeling it today in the leg. So I'm not expecting this to be very fast, but yeah, nice easy run, get my legs ready for a longer, slightly faster run either Saturday or Sunday. That's when I tend to do my long runs. But yeah, should be lovely out here with the sunset. Now it's got a bit cooler. So while I'm out here enjoying the sunset, let me see if I can remember some of the specifications of these gel Cumulus 24s. So yeah, like I said, the main difference is that midsole, the FF Blast, like in the Nova Blast. It's an 8mm drop, so we've got 24mm in the heel, drop into a 16mm in the forefoot. In my UK size 8 or US size 9, it weighs 286 grams. There you go, I'm doing pretty well at remembering them. It's not a lightweight shoe, but it's not super heavy for a daily trainer. That's about right. I
I think a little bit heavier than the Nova Blast and about the same as the gel Nimbus. The upper is a double mesh, which is fairly breathable. It's almost like a sock like upper, a very padded tongue and heel area, which are performing pretty well on the first run, nice and comfortable. So yeah, it's a daily trainer that's definitely built for those long miles, easy miles in comfort, and I'm definitely experiencing that so far. Any other specs? Yeah, just it's the gel Cumulus. So yeah, we've got the gel in the heel and the gel in the forefoot, which just helps absorb some of that impact from the run. But yeah, they're the main specifications. I'll go over my first impressions when we get back from this lovely run. Look at this, gorgeous. The thing about doing these runs at this time is you've basically got all these country lanes to yourself, apart from the odd cyclist, but I don't mind sharing. Woo.
So I'm back from my run, my first run in the gel Cumulus 24. So I thought I'd go over my first impressions and go over some of my likes and dislikes about this shoe. And finally, who would I recommend this shoe to and whether it's going to fit into my shoe rotation. So let's start off with the likes. I've probably sound a bit like a broken record, but this midsole really does make a huge difference. So the Flight Foam Blast compared to the regular Flight Foam is much better, much softer. I wouldn't say it's like responsive like an Alpha Fly or the Metaspeed Sky, but it still has that pop that just make this a daily trainer with a little bit more excitement about it than its predecessor, the Cumulus 23. Another standout point for this shoe was its comfort. So straight out the box, the lockdown and the step-in feel is very plush. Plenty of cushioning in the heel, a nice heel counter there offering you a bit of support. The tongue is very padded, sits nicely on top of the foot, and I didn't have any issues getting a good lockdown. The upper is again built for comfort, sock-like feel, and it conforms very well to the top of your foot. This shoe is now a lot more versatile than its predecessor, just because of that new midsole. I feel like I could run longer, and even if I wanted to do a little bit of tempo work towards the end of a long run maybe. But yeah, overall was pretty impressed with the improvements that Asics have made to the gel Cumulus 24. So moving on to my dislikes. Now one of these is that it kind of lacks the fun factor of some of the other shoes that Asics have on offer. So for example, the Nova Blast has a really bouncy sort of energetic ride. And this shoe sort of lacks that a little bit, especially when you compare it to other shoes on the market that are in that sort of daily category. For example, the On Cloud Monster that I've recently been trying, and even if I think back to last year's sort of Rebel V2 from New Balance, it's a lot more exciting, and I could see myself gravitating towards those over this shoe. But that being said, it does exactly what it says on the tin. It's built for comfort, built for daily miles. If I'm totally honest, it wasn't as dull as I thought it may be. That midsole has definitely livened it up a little bit, giving it a little bit more responsiveness than the previous. But yeah, a very traditional shoe. However, that new midsole has definitely brought it into the 21st century. Another one of my dislikes is just the overall look of this shoe. Now, to some people that probably doesn't matter, but to me, I quite like my daily trainers, the shoes that I'm going to be wearing the most, to be, on the good looking side of things. You can't really wear this as a casual shoe. It's an out and out running shoe. But if that doesn't bother you, then there's no issues there in terms of just how it looks. And finally, who would I recommend this shoe to? So I would recommend this shoe to anyone who is sort of new to running, who's getting into running, who's looking for a shoe that they can do every single run in basically. They're not looking to build a rotation, they're just looking for one solid shoe that's comfortable. You can do your long runs, your easy runs, a bit of tempo work, your park runs even. This would be great for park runs, that extra bit of coverage on the bottom there. If you've got sort of a multi-terrain park run that you do, then this is going to be perfect for those sort of more grassy, maybe trail sections as well. Plenty of grip on the bottom. That pretty much summarizes my first impressions of the gel Cumulus 24. Much better than the predecessor, the 23, and mainly due to that midsole. Thanks for watching. I'll give you a more detailed review after I put a few more miles into this shoe, but until next time, aspire to run, run to inspire, and we'll see you again soon. Bye bye.